So hello and welcome to another YouTube video or gameplay commentary. I haven't really done these videos in quite a while, and I've just been busy, if you guys have been wondering. And well, today, as you know in the title, basically what I'm going to talk to you about is whether or not you should buy one of these 4PS SCUF controllers. And if you want to just get to the point, I would say no. Honestly, like compared to the Xbox 360 controllers, they're just not as good. And the only reason why I bought this was because it was on sale. It was basically 25% off, but now that I think about it, even though it is now 25%, it was 25% off. It was basically I paid $150, and this is maxed out. Like I could take out. I have this like control disc. I have like the sticks. I have these paddles. It's remappable. I have the trigger stops, and I have these weird things that can interchangeable triggers. Now overall, I would like, it's just not worth it. 150 bucks, like at most 100 bucks I would say. And I'm not comparing this to any other controller, and maybe it's just because I claw my controller, but I mean, using a regular controller, that's all I really cared about. And the main reason why I bought the SCUF 4PS was because back when I had the 360 SCUF, it was not only ergonomic and it fit my hand perfectly. This one, like, it doesn't fit my hand perfectly. It feels like very cramped up, even like, and I know the SCUF Impact is out and it's supposed to be similar to a Xbox 360, but the main reason is I have sweaty palms, and I used to use this stuff for my regular controller to just dry out my hands. And with this SCUF grip, this military SCUF grip that they put on my controller, it doesn't really help at all compared to like my 360, and I have super sweaty palms, so it's very disappointing for me to use a controller like this. And at 150 bucks, it's not that great. And now I should have returned it. It was just like kind of an impulse buy, but at the same time I was getting kind of serious with YouTube and stuff like that, and as well as gaming. And for the average person, I really wouldn't buy this. Even for the high-end person like SCUF Pro, or like the pros who play Call of Duty or any other FPS shooter, I honestly wouldn't buy it. I mean, best thing to do is like honestly learn how to claw your controller, or even when it comes to Call of Duty, the settings for your controller is that you have bumper jumper. And bumper jumper is basically where your L1 and R1 are basically to jump around, and you don't really need the SCUF paddles to ever like do that anymore. And like when it comes to having a SCUF, for me, like since I clock my controller, my left paddle is to sprint, and my right paddle is to basically use my kill streaks or score streaks, whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it. But that's really what I use it for. And even when I had a regular controller, it really wasn't like, it's not like game breaking changing. Like if you wanted to invest something that's 150 bucks, buy a monitor. Monitor is probably one of the best things you can ever buy, and I could go in more detail with that in another video, but I'm just gonna keep this short and simple. So even with these triggers, like I don't use these triggers, I just use them for grenades and stuff. I still use L1 and R1 because it's just faster, it's shorter, even with these trigger stops. And the thing with these trigger stops is like they're really bad. They're just, in my opinion, really bad because they tend to switch around. Like all you do is twist them, and they're regular triggers, and you twist them back to the bottom. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'll try to, if you can see it right here, it's like right there. So you can just twist it around, but occasionally when I try to push the trigger, the thing will turn around and it'll be a whole trigger, if you know what I mean. So the trigger stop will be like it disabled by itself just because I'm using it, and that's kind of frustrating already. If anything, they should have just went back to the old trigger stops where it's just a screw, and if you wanted to use it as a regular, you know, trigger, you just take it off. It's that simple. I mean, like, yeah, it's kind of tedious and all, but I'd rather do that than have this like inconvenience every now and then of like when I press my trigger, it goes all the way down instead of going it to the way I want it to be. And that's just my opinion. I mean, like I said, 150 bucks. I mean, you can change the thumbsticks, but I use a control freak, and like I said, using a regular controller, and I'm clawing my controller. If you don't claw your controller and you're a regular user, you can still use bumper jumper, like I said, and it's really not that big of a difference. I wouldn't spend 150 bucks. At most $175 to $100 for this controller. And I can just say, if you choose to buy a SCUF Impact, or unless you have like tons of money, you know, you're super rich, or you're like, for some reason you're another YouTuber who makes hella money, and I don't know why you're watching this video, but if you have tons of money, or if you're another like high-end YouTuber, or if you just like really care about your gaming that much, and you think it really that matters that much, one thing for sure is don't get the SCUF military grip, because it honestly doesn't help me when I have sweaty palms, because it still slips out of my hand. And like I don't really use this control disc that much. I don't like play Street Fighter. I mean, every now and then I have Street Fighter on my computer, but I don't play it using this controller. Instead, I use my Xbox 360. I can tell you for sure, Xbox 360 controller is probably the best controller you can ever use in your whole entire life, just hands down in my opinion, because like over the years when it comes to PlayStation, the controller has always been the same, like just structurally, I would say. And yeah, you can argue like, oh no, it's different, it does this and that and that, but overall it still looks the same. If I was to grab a PlayStation 1 controller, which I don't have, I think I threw it out, and compared to this, they're basically the same. Like nothing's different, nothing more ergonomic about it, and that's the problem. When it comes to the 360, you know, the Xbox One, and I grab, it's just, since I have huge hands, if you have huge hands like mine, then obviously you're gonna want an Xbox One controller or a bigger controller. You know, you want to get, you don't have to get, I wouldn't even get the SCUF Impact. If anything, get like that Razer controller, or there's another one. Those controllers are a lot better in my point of view, or just from how it looks, and you might as well invest in that if you're a huge like Call of Duty fan. But I think that's all I really gotta say. Like I said, the trigger stops suck. This sucks. The grip sucks. The paddles is just like, obviously they're just paddles, but I use them for different purposes. For any other regular person, you know, like I said, left paddle is to sprint, right paddle is to just use my streaks. You know, because I claw my controller. I hold it basically like this, and I can use the whole entire face buttons without even doing anything. And when it comes to like clawing your controller, people say like, oh, it's uncomfortable. You get used to it. Like over time, if you can discipline yourself, you get used to anything, right? If you're like, just like with like the jetpacking and shit. And so, like I said, overall, do not buy a SCUF controller just because I have every single thing in this SCUF controller. Every single thing. Everything. Whole entire SCUF. 150, and it really wasn't worth it. Like I said, buy a monitor. Make sure it's gray to gray, 2 milliseconds. If you want in another video, I'll put it more in depth, but I think it's kind of going long as it is. But anyways, if you guys enjoy this gameplay commentary, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I don't know what gameplay is going on right now, but I'll put something up. I was like, I'm gonna probably put like some Modern Warfare Remastered and some like Black Ops 3. But yeah, it's been nice seeing you guys again, or thank you guys if you guys are still subscribing or if you're still supporting me. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. I don't know when, but yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.
Good.